Who is the biggest star in boxing? Tank Davis. And joining the lead of the variant is Miami legend, hip-hop star, influencer Ruby Rose.
And the talent difference, the experience difference, we understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo.
I thought it was 190, Dean. That's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
The face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis on Netflix Uncut quickly turned into a tense moment that had everyone talking. The atmosphere was electric when Tank suddenly shoved Jake during their stare-down, proving this fight had real emotion behind the hype. Both men exchanged heated words, their faces showing confidence mixed with frustration. Many fans pointed out how much smaller Tank looked next to Jake, with some calling the size gap unbelievable. Still, others argued that height and muscle don't always decide fights. Skill, timing, and experience could make this battle closer than it seems.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm gonna fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Teddy Atlas, the veteran boxing trainer and sharp-tongued analyst, broke down the face-off and immediately focused on the size difference. To him, it wasn't just visible, it was massive. He said Jake towered over Tank so much that Tank might need a ladder just to touch his chin. Atlas explained that while boxing is mostly about skill, timing, and heart, size still matters when the gap is that wide. He compared it to when Canelo Alvarez moved up to fight Terrence Crawford. They looked evenly matched despite the weight jump, but in this case, Atlas felt the difference was just too extreme. He admitted Tank has the experience and explosive power to shock anyone, but against someone as tall and strong as Jake Paul, this fight already looks like an uphill battle.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract, but I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, all kidding, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm gonna ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm gonna ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, AKA Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me.
Greg Hackett, a well-known boxing coach, spoke confidently about Gervonta Davis's mindset and focus. According to Hackett, Tank doesn't get distracted by the hype or by Jake Paul's loud promotions. He knows exactly what he wants and how to get it. People inside the gym say Davis has been training harder than ever, showing total focus and discipline. His sparring partners described him as sharp, intense, and constantly pushing himself past his limits.
It's something for you new to do, try to keep you fresh and this and that, keep your name hot. You gotta stay in the algorithms. You know, it's just a lot of pressure on fighters. And I feel like Tank being at, what is he, 30 years old? And you got kids. See, what people forget about is it come a time in a man's life where he just wants to slow down. You know what I'm saying? We can't all run around like we used to back in the day. I mean, that's tough to do. Sometimes you just want to sit down, enjoy your fruits, And I feel like that could be what he's going through. He wanna just enjoy the fruits of his labor and enjoy life. And people don't want to hear that because they feel like you got more work to do. But it's his.
Fans who saw Tank at media events also noticed how calm and collected he seemed, focused, but relaxed, showing that he knows what's at stake. For him, this fight is about more than fame or money. It's about proving he can perform anywhere, under any spotlight, and still look like the elite fighter he is. A win here could boost his name in mainstream circles, giving him the same attention influencers get, while reminding everyone that real skill always beats showmanship.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake.
Eddie Chambers, a former heavyweight turned trainer, gave a more balanced take on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup. He reminded fans that boxing history is full of smaller fighters beating bigger ones. Chambers said too many people obsess over size and forget about timing, experience, and technique. He pointed to examples where smart, skilled boxers use strategy to defeat stronger opponents. In his opinion, Jake's height and reach might help early, but Davis's quick feet and ring IQ could close the gap fast. Chambers stressed that fights are won by execution, not measurements. He ended by saying that while Jake's size is real, Tank's precision and instinct could make him the most dangerous man once the bell rings.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. It's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from him. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone, now of course, there is a size difference, a height difference and all that, but he's just gonna struggle so much landing a shot. It's just gonna look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's gonna look bad. Tank is gonna be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's gonna knock him out or, but he's gonna feel.
Timothy Bradley, a former champion turned analyst, strongly backed Gervonta Davis, calling this fight easy money for Tank. His confidence came from the huge difference in their boxing backgrounds. Bradley explained that Davis has spent years fighting elite opponents who understand the pace and danger of true championship bouts. While Jake Paul has only faced a few pros, most of them retired fighters or social media names. Though Bradley respected Jake's dedication and how he's brought new fans to boxing, he said stepping in with Tank is a whole different game. Davis's ring IQ, timing, and calmness under pressure make him far more experienced. Bradley believes this fight will expose the gap between real fighters and newcomers to the sport. In his view, Tank's experience gives him a huge edge, and even if Jake's bigger, his limited skills will show once Tank's punches start landing.
Yeah, you prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happens when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah, phone sensor security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the...
Paulie Malignaggi, a former world champion and analyst, had a much harsher take on Gervonta Davis. He claimed Tank's career has been too protected and that he hasn't faced enough real threats. Malignaggi argued that Davis's success is built more on highlight knockouts and careful matchmaking than true competition. His comments added to the ongoing debate in boxing about whether Tank has truly tested himself against the best in his division. While fans defend Davis's talent and knockout power, critics like Paulie believe greatness comes from taking on real risks. Even with the criticism, Davis remains one of the sport's biggest stars, known for his speed, precision, and knockout strength. His record might divide opinion, but his star power and fan following are undeniable.
He's trying to clown people, but then he admits that Tank is the biggest name in Western boxing. So doesn't even make sense. Listen again.
Either the fans have gone down to the dumbest level possible, or the media themselves have gone down to the dumbest level possible for Nick.
See, so he's already trying to roast the fans and anybody who says Tank's the face of boxing. Basically calling people dumb, right? Oldest trick in the book. But then he says, I understand that Tank is probably the biggest name in the West.
Naming this guy as the face of boxing. I understand we don't have anything. The fact that...
I understand we don't have anything. Keep listening.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name in the West at the moment.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name at the moment in the West. He is the biggest name in the West. Name somebody bigger. Right? Point blank, period. So you're off to a bad start. Name calling. Then you're acting like you don't understand it whilst mentioning he's the biggest name in boxing. And you're saying it's disturbing. Why is it disturbing?
It's certainly disturbing. But it also shows you that you can make anything into...
There's growing talk that Gervonta Davis might consider retiring after this high-profile fight. Sources close to his team say Tank's focus has shifted from chasing legacy to securing long-term financial freedom. The Jake Paul fight could bring one of the biggest paydays of his career, enough to let him walk away on his own terms. Those close to him see it as a smart business move, not an emotional choice. Tank already has world titles and a loyal fan base, so continuing to fight may no longer be necessary. Still, fans are split on whether his talk of retirement is serious or just another strategy to build hype for the bout.
And for Ben, on what you make. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear. that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing. For sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You'd rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates. Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're gonna come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is gonna knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What is that?
Show was the adult, a boxing commentator and YouTube analyst, offered a balanced perspective. He praised Jake Paul for bringing new life to boxing, especially among younger fans who weren't interested before. By using his massive social media influence, Jake turned boxing events into global spectacles, introducing the sport to millions of casual viewers. But Showbiz also pointed out the downside, that Jake often avoids facing opponents who are his size or at his skill level. Many in the boxing community think his matchups are carefully selected, raising questions about how much he's really willing to risk inside the ring.
Boxing is going to sing his praises like a hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing, okay? I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Paul, an MVP, has added to the sport of boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. There's a huge amount of boxing pugilists in the boxing community who's over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, if he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars.
Daniel Cormier, former UFC champion and respected sports analyst, gave a blunt opinion about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. He said the matchup feels more like a business move than a real sporting challenge. Cormier questioned why Tank even took the fight since he doesn't need the money, calling it unnecessary and predictable. He suggested the bout is more about social media buzz and entertainment than true competition. His comments echo what many traditional boxing fans feel, that the sport is shifting too much towards spectacle and away from real rivalry. Still, Cormier's take adds another layer to the debate, showing how this fight blurs the line between competition, fame, and business.
I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money.
that can't be the
He's
reason
been
why
a
he's
world
taking this
champion
fight.
so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and Jose Sulaiman was very upset that he wasn't gonna be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing, but with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.